Welcome all gamers, achievement hunters, friends, and loyal fans to TBD Gaming, the video game broadcasting and review channel where we keep it real. I'm the Black Deesh, the jack of all games and master of none. Today I'll go over everything you need to know before you play the game Chinatown Detective Agency. Chinatown Detective Agency was released April 7th, 2022 for Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC for a price of $24.99. It was developed by General Interactive and published by General Interactive, Whisper Games, Humble Games, and Humble Bundle. It's rated T for teen for blood, drug references, language, suggestive themes, violence, and use of alcohol and tobacco. The file size is 1.69 gigabytes, so a very small game here. Really not a lot going on graphically, so you don't have to worry about busting your hard drive for this one. There are 16 achievements for 1,000 gamer score, and how long to beat has this rated around 13 and a half hours. True achievement came in a little lower than that, at about 8 to 10 hours. It was about 2.0 true achievement ratio, but it's going down since more people are completing this game before it goes off Game Pass. So right now it's at 1,982 true achievement points. This game took me 7 hours and 28 minutes, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, this is a pretty good game. Quick synopsis: Chinatown Detective Agency is a 2D point-and-click mystery game. You play as Amira Darma, who is the head of a small private investigation firm, and it's set in 2037 Singapore. So in the future, in Singapore, in a Chinatown there. You build relationships and solve small crimes, and eventually it leads you to a much bigger case that you work for the remainder of the game. So you have the ability to travel all over the world, even though most of the places you go have nothing to do with your case, and they're just like an 8-bit image of the areas and what they might look like in 2037. I will note, though, that there is an achievement connected to taking 30 flights and another for traveling to 12 cities. So I did end up visiting all of the places that were available to go in this game, even though there wasn't really much point other than to get that achievement. So things I really liked about Chinatown Detective Agency: the game makes you think a lot, and I like that. The story is intelligent and it's very well fleshed out. It's a mystery game, so I mean, there's an element to solving puzzles and figuring out who did what and what crimes were committed, etc. The puzzles included educational elements as well. So you literally have to use real world knowledge in order to solve some of the puzzles, which is pretty cool. You have to kind of Google your way through, some of the puzzles that are in the game, unless you follow a guide or unless you have a vast array of knowledge about art history and or 4,000-year-old poetry, because there's a lot of like really old references in this game, which I thought was pretty cool. I learned a lot essentially while I was playing this. It was a pretty good time. Things I did not like about Chinatown Detective Agency: the voiceover work was very inconsistent. Some scenes everyone is talking, some scenes nobody is talking, and in others there's one character that talks and one that doesn't. It's kind of weird. It's really inconsistent. Subtitles are consistent throughout. They're always there, but it gave the game kind of a weird feel. I mean, you kind of expected to hear voiceover work for everyone at the beginning, and then it kind of tailed off, like they just forgot to do the rest of the voiceovers, or maybe they just didn't care at that point. I don't know what happened there, but the interface was also a little tricky to get used to. As you can see on the screen, there's like a phone on the left side, as well as like bank balance, and then on the bottom there's like things you can do. Like there's a map and the Horus, which is basically your flights that you can take, which is also a little callback to like Egyptian history there. But it was kind of difficult to get used to. Especially, I didn't really like the fact that the phone and the other like HUD stuff was just on the screen all the time. Kind of bothered me a lot. I wish that you could just put the phone away and leave it and like make the screen bigger. But that's just a little weird tidbit. It doesn't really matter that much. It was just kind of bothering my OCD the entire game. There's also one more thing I didn't like: that you earn money for solving your cases. So as you get paid throughout the game, you make a certain amount of money. But the only things you can spend it on is rent and travel. So basically, you can only spend your money on going a bunch of different places, but you end up with way more money than you possibly need. I thought it would be pretty cool if they added a way to spend the rest of that money. And it's just kind of like a loss mechanic there. There wasn't really much going on. Not that big of a deal, but once again, it's kind of weird. Quick analysis, the storyline is cerebral. The gameplay is pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. It's a point-and-click game, so there's not really a ton going on there. Mechanics are okay, graphics are retro, and it is difficult if you don't use a guide. I bet this game would have taken me a long time if I had to solve all the puzzles for myself. But I did use a guide, and it still took about 8 hours. So, is the game worth the price? No. It was on Game Pass. I was playing it as it was leaving, so it's definitely not going to be on Game Pass once this video comes out. The grind is worth the gamer score, I'd say, and I'd say it's probably it's an easy completion with a guide. I would not play Chinatown Detective Agency if it had no achievements at all. TBD score for Chinatown Detective Agency is going to be 6.08 out of 10. So not a bad score. If you liked this video, please do like and subscribe as always. And if you'd like to see more content by me, you can follow me at The Black Dish on Twitch. I appreciate your love and support as always, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.